Welkom allemaal bij een nieuwe LinkedIn Live van vandaag, 4 uur. We gaan het hebben over mobiele.de en waarom dealers zouden moeten afreizen naar Berlijn op 13 november om het meeste te horen over hoe je nou bijvoorbeeld cross-border kan doen in Europa met bijvoorbeeld je dieselvoertuigen die hier niet verkopen, maar wellicht in Duitsland of Europa natuurlijk wel. Vandaag gaan we het hebben dus over dat Konferenz samen met Inga Muller, Alexander Prinssen en natuurlijk ook Rolf Westgeest, maar daarover zometeen meer. Ten eerste een aantal zaken. Er gebeuren natuurlijk een hoop dingen op dit moment in die online automotive. En een van die dingen is natuurlijk ook dat er nieuwe ontwikkelingen gaande zijn. Alleen al deze week 2 nieuwe websites zijn live gegaan of hebben gezegd dat ze live gaan. Namelijk Autofy met 2 O's en Carvendo. Allebei portalen die het online verkopen van auto's mogelijk willen maken. Met een van de 2 heb ik van de week ook een gesprek gehad en ik heb ook de vraag gesteld, wat maakt jou nou dan uniek ten opzichte van die andere 120 portalen die Nederland rijk is? En het antwoord was een beetje schuldig in die zin. Ik wens ze natuurlijk het allerbeste, maar de vraag dient zich wel op, zitten wij in Nederland wel te wachten op 120 autoportalen? En ik denk dat het antwoord daar wel ligt in nee. Aan de andere kant maken we ons ook klaar voor 4 en 5 november. 4 en 5 november hebben we natuurlijk onze DCDW-events, Digital Car Dealer Workshops. 4 november hebben we die in Antwerpen met al meer dan 100 deelnemers op dit moment van importeurs, van leasemaatschappijen, van autobedrijven en verdelers, zoals we die in België noemen. Hebben we natuurlijk nog plekken over. Je kunt je aanmelden als je dat leuk vindt. 5 november hebben we de discussie der discussies, oftewel er gaan de 4 portalen met elkaar in gesprek onder leiding van Bart en Kuipers van Bekan over de waarde van het automotive portaal. Alexander Prinssen, Dorianne Richelle, Joep Hendricks en Jan-Willem Poldervaart gaan met elkaar het gesprek in hoe automotive portalen in het algemeen die toegevoegde waarde kunnen geven aan het dealer en het autobedrijf. Daarvoor zijn ook kaarten beschikbaar. Het is gratis voor medewerkers van dealers, autobedrijven, leasemaatschappijen en importeurs. Dus heb je je nog niet aangemeld, doe dat dan vooral snel. En dan gaan we eigenlijk naar het event wat we vandaag willen doen. 13 november, de Moor en de Konferenz. Ik mocht er al 2 jaar een presentatie geven. De eerste keer was volgens mij, dan ben ik de naam even kwijt van de stad. Waar was dat ook alweer? Het was niet zo ver, maar goed, Alexander zal het zo meteen wel zeggen. En vorig jaar in Berlijn. Hartstikke leuke presentaties. En je ziet ook dat vooral Duitse dealers in bepaalde dingen best wel vooruit kunnen lopen. Maar in bepaalde dingen ook wel achter ons lopen. En dat is leuk dat je ook dingen kan brengen om ze uiteindelijk beter te kunnen maken. Daar gaan we het over hebben. Ten eerste met Alexander Prinssen. Die ga ik er even bij halen, want die heeft ook een belangrijke rol bij de Moor-conferentie. Alexander, leuk dat je er in ieder geval bent.
Dankjewel, Paul.
Dank daarvoor. En we hadden tegen Inga beloofd dat we het in het Engels zouden doen.
Ja.
Dat ben ik in de introductie vergeten, maar dan gaan we het vanaf nu in het Engels doen.
Okay.
Alexander, welcome. So, 13th of November, we are going to Berlin again. So, what can dealers expect who are already going to Berlin about the cooperation between Marktplaats and Mobile, for example?
Yeah, Paul, that's right. So, I think it's the 3rd time now, right? So, I think I just heard you saying about the first time. I think it was in Hanover, if I'm right.
Yeah.
So the northern part of Germany, of course, and last year it was in Berlin in the Mobile office, and now it's again in Berlin. But back to your question, okay, what can they expect? I think it's in general it's a bit more than a full day program because I think the main, let's say, event is on Thursday, the 13th of November. But we invited also a lot of Dutch dealers, and not only Dutch dealers, also international dealers. So people from Scandinavia, for instance, from Belgium, maybe even France, I don't know. But it's more than only dealers from the Netherlands. So we have an international group of dealers who will arrive the day before, so on Wednesday evening. And then I think the kind of official program kicks off with a kind of gathering, just a meet and greet between all those international dealers. I think they all can learn from each other, of course. They can share best practices. We're going to have some informal, let's say, dinner and doing some presentations. And then the day itself, I think it's great, right? So I think we all know that we can consider Mobile DE as the main, the most important car vertical in Europe. Also a getaway to a lot of other countries than Germany on itself. And that also means that I think, you will see that a lot of interesting content will be shared on that day. So there are a lot of international speakers, also from Auto Trader, for instance, local speakers, of course, from our colleagues in Germany. So I think on the one hand, and that's usually the case with events, of course, it's a great opportunity to network, of course.
Yeah.
Not only with your peers in the market, but also, let's say, with international colleagues from other countries, like I just mentioned. And I think the other hand, it's also a great opportunity, to learn a lot. I think, we'll have presentations, workshops, expert tables. So I think in terms of, knowledge sharing and gaining, a lot of experience, I think it's a great opportunity to attend.
Yeah, and for sure. And I know also for sure that the first time we went to Hanover, I remember it now clearly, we had some help from our dear friend Rolf Westgeest, because he is, actually the ambassador of Mobile in the Netherlands for sure. So we're going to talk about him as well. So Rolf, thank you for being here. And I know for a fact that you were very, very busy last year to fill up the stage with a lot of Dutch dealers, for example, at the international stage. And we had also an Amsterdam's cafeetje over there as well. Can you talk about what you did today, this year, to get international dealers involved in this event?
Yes, thank you for the invitation, Paul. And I'm sorry for the little bit cough, but still, I hope I'm fine in voice. And Inga will tell more about the stages this year and last year, 24. We had an international stage where we had around 60 people from international dealers that attended. We had, for example, Bus Trucks, a very big, one of the biggest bus truck traders in Europe. On stage, we had also Auto Trader, as Alexander Prinssen said, and this year the CEO, we have Auto Trader from England. And we had great discussions how cross-border trade is a very important piece of business within the automotive, because you need to source the right cars in your country, right? But also you need to export the cars that are hard to sell in your region, locally, nationally, but could be really good sold in other countries. And we have EVs, for example, our Tesla Model 3 dropped immense 1 or 2 years ago in Holland, but we had, luckily, the European Union, which picked up the prices. Well, those topics were on the international stage, and this year there are different stages, and Inga will tell that. We worked this year to have some other cross-border trade topics. So there will be a round table again, a World Cafe. Last year Amsterdam, this year it will be Copenhagen, because we have 25 people from Denmark. And it will be Coffee Copenhagen, because it will be at 10:30. So we couldn't have Carlsberg beer at 10:30, right? And there will be 5 topics of mobile, of communication, of AI and cross-border, registration, transport. And we have a separate table of trucks and vans, because trucks and vans, as you know, is a really cross-border trade product. And I think it's really great. We added a truck and van table this year because people can have one-on-ones and have tips and tricks with each other about digitalization of the truck trading. Well, and then we have a cross-border panel also, and we have 3 great speakers, which we had practiced this week. Is Gert-Jan Den Otter from Gema Trading. He's trading around 2,000 trucks a year internationally. 90%, 95% of his trading is internationally, so that's almost all cross-border. We have René Mackay, also known from Europe Fans. He was there 2 years ago also at the MORE event, and now he will be speaker on stage on our cross-border panel. He is having 400 vans, light commercial vehicles, which is doing also 10-25% of cross-border. And we have Jens Larsen from Denmark, and he is doing the passenger car import and export from Denmark, Scandinavian, and the Nordics, which is trading around 1,000 to 1,200 cars. So I think we really have experts that are telling the insights how to be successful in cross-border, and also around the platform Mobile de.
Yeah, and talking about cross-border, I will ask Alexander, because he is doing an expert table as well. Alexander, what are you going to talk about on your table?
Yeah, so it's indeed an expert table about the topic diesel EV. I think, you know, there is a lot to do on powertrains, of course. So I think we see a significant uptake on EV new car sales registrations. So I just looked up some numbers. So I think, you know, if you talk about Europe, I think full electric vehicles was close to 16% August year to date versus diesel 9%. Diesel is declining, of course, and that's in favor of electric vehicles. But that also goes along with a lot of challenges, of course, because I think we all know that most leasing cars, you know, are an electric car. Of course, in some cases it's also hybrid, but usually it's full electric. These cars also coming back. We know the examples of Tesla, for instance. And sometimes, you know, it's a challenge to sell those cars, let's say, in a domestic market, like, for instance, in the Netherlands. And what you see then, I think then, you know, borders will open up, of course. We are all in a kind of international global market.
Yeah.
And therefore, I think, you know, Mobile is also very interesting to learn more about, because I think, you know, it serves also an opportunity to sell those cars abroad. And that could be, you know, via, let's say, a portal like Mobile, for instance. We also know that, I think, EVs, you know, are there is a great demand still in Scandinavia, for instance. So you see a lot of EVs also from the Netherlands, ex-lease cars going to Denmark, for instance.
From Mobile?
And yeah, and like I said, you know, I think Mobile, you know, it has its residence in Germany, but I think, you know, it's a kind of central hub, you know, to more countries than only Germany, of course. So I think, you know, a lot of buyers, you know, going to Mobile to buy those cars. And I think, you know, you have a great opportunity during this event also to learn more about cross-border trade. Where the challenges and opportunities are, and of course that's also where Rolf is coming in with Eurostoxx, of course, and that's, I think, the main topic of my expert table. And I think the same goes for diesel, right? Because if you take a look at the Netherlands, I'm from the Netherlands, as you know, of course.
Yeah.
In the Netherlands, you know, diesel is almost phased out when it comes to new car sales, of course. But if you compare that, for instance, to Germany or to Belgium, just to give 2 examples, you know, I see different trends, right? So diesel also still, you know, is still there, especially also in the second-hand market, but also on the new car sales market.
Yeah.
So I think there are a lot of challenges and questions also from dealers. Okay, what are the best markets and where do we get the most opportunities to sell those cars and to gain the most value, of course, around these cars?
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it's a nice example of the diesel. It's still in Europe. There are a lot of places and regions that what we heard from the cross-border trade people, that there's no infrastructure of for electric cars. And when
No.
there's no infrastructure and people have to drive 100-200 kilometers a day, a diesel is still the best opportunity for them. So for them, that's still a first choice, while we in Holland have a great charging infrastructure.
Of course. Thank you both for your input for this LinkedIn Live, and as well to make also the satellite event possible, because Alexander, as a sponsor of Marktplaats, you are going to put budget in to make that happen, as well Eurostox, you name it, and of course DCDW as well. So thank you both for doing that, and I will put you back in the green room, and then we'll put our head guest of today, our most important guest of today, and that's of course Inga, and to talk about the more conference. Inga, nice to meet you in the studio.
Nice to meet you too, Paul. And I hope I'm not the most important guest, but this group is important, and the conference is important. But I'm so happy you're doing this and to be here today.
Sure, and we love to work together from a Marktplaats perspective, from an Eurostox perspective, with the mobile people over in Berlin. I know for sure that Rolf spent a lot of air miles to go back and forth to Berlin as well. For the people in the Netherlands, can you explain more? Who are you? What's your role within Mobile and what you are doing?
Yes. So I'm working in the PR department of mobile.de. I'm at Mobile since 5 years. And actually 4 years ago, we had the first More conference. We were in a pandemic, and we were looking for something to create exchange for dealers in this difficult times, create exchange about how to deal with the current challenges. And then we started the More conference as one of these communication topics. But what I'm really doing is more than the More conference, but the More conference is like the crown jewel. But we're doing a lot of communication on the future of mobility, dealerships, and so on. And we try to create exchange. We try to show the best practices of the industry. We try to bring transparency with lots of numbers. So we have a market intelligence report, for example, and everything to make decisions easier, to create impulses, and to create something together for the future. Oh, Paul, I cannot hear you. Is it me?
It is Paul that we cannot hear. Maybe Inga was talking. Maybe I'm here with the voice, and you can bring Inga back. It's great that we had a 4 times more, and it's getting bigger and bigger. If you can hear me, Inga, how big is the More this year?
So there's different levels to this. So I think we will have the biggest More in terms of on-site visitors. So we have, I don't know, already over 500 registrations, lots of German dealers, a lot of international dealers, thanks to Rolf, but also banks, service providers, OEMs. So this is one of the growth levers, but also in terms of content. We have 4 stages this time. It's we always say we don't want to have too much choice, but then we end up with more content than the year before. So it's 4 stages from 10 to 6 o'clock, and so many great panels and keynotes. Of course, they're all translated. We have translators so that you can always listen also to the German panels and keynotes in English. But there are a lot of international speakers that, of course, talk English. And then, what else is bigger? I don't know. The channels grow and so on. But it's not just about bigger, but getting better.
No, and it's getting better. And if people couldn't join on site in Berlin on the 13th November, they can have a live stream, or they can see the videos after it. How does it work?
That's true. So there's no live stream this year because that was Corona times, and that just is not what people want anymore. They want on demand. So that is what we provide. A couple of days, a week after the More Conference, all the panels and keynotes will be available on our YouTube channel. And also what we have this year, there will be AI summaries of each panel and each keynote shortly after the conference, and we will provide those. Yeah. So
yeah, because I think Mobile is one of the AI first companies, right?
That's true, and there's also a keynote on that topic: how to be an AI first company, what that means, and what we learned. That's true.
Yeah, and what other speakers do you really looking forward to? We can talk about cross-border trade speakers maybe later on this
Yes.
live link. But what are the main speakers this year?
So
topics?
What I love about this year's conference is that we have so many best practices from dealers. So this is one thing. So we have a lot of panels where dealers share their best practices. For example, when it comes to analytics and how to use data, we have a smart analytics panel. Then we have AI use cases, how AI is used already in the dealerships. We have one on digital reach. We have one on conversion, and there are so many great cases. So this is one part. And then the speakers, there's Troy Turbo Springs, for example, he's sharing US marketing secrets, and he's talking about the age of acceleration. I think it's so great that he will be there because, of course, in the US, a lot of the digital things are always a little bit ahead. And so he brings this knowledge and this inspiration to us. And then there's a panel that was important for me. As Europeans, we are in a difficult situation historically. So we have to focus on our strengths, and we have to take care that we don't lose our innovation, that we keep up prosperity and so on. So we have one very strong economy panel, for example, lots of things on AI and mobility, future of mobility, autonomous driving. So there's also a lot outside of the dealer business, the daily business, but what opens the minds. And
And test, Paul, are you back on stage? Yes.
I hope so. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so happy that you just filled in like it was almost natural or pre-rehearsed, but my battery was dead and it was my fault, up to me, but happy that nobody actually thought something about it. So thank you for that one. So I put Alexander also in the stream as well, so he can cooperate as well. But you talk about the panels, and Inga, I was very honored that I was in a panel with Ian from the UK, with AJ, etc. And can you talk more about that panel and what we are going to discuss? So I actually know as well.
Yeah, so you're going to be one of the contributors. You're also going to provide input, which is great, to get this panel started. And it's about, we call it lead intelligence. And it's we have the top heads of different European marketplaces there, like Ian von Autotrader, Christian Gysi von OLX, from Wendt. And so this is going to be a panel that between the marketplaces where they talk about how to provide value to the dealers, how they provide intelligence for the speed up digitalization. Create ecosystems and so on. So I think there's a lot to learn on how the dealers can benefit from the marketplaces, and also where we are heading in terms of digitalization, using intelligence, lead intelligence, and so on.
So the one thing which struck my mind always is that a platform as Mobile, working in the online automotive space, is open up for also, I don't want to say competitors, but the colleagues from abroad to come and show what they are doing and to cooperate with together how we make that online automotive better in Germany or in the Netherlands, etc. And most of the time you see it in America, you never had a competitor in that space presenting at somebody other event, for example. And I think it will show the strength of the platform actually to show your clients what is out there anymore, what's out there in the bigger space as well. Sorry.
I think that it is so. The More Conference is not a sales conference by mobile.de.
No.
This is really important for us. It's a conference to bring together the industry, and because we believe that working together helps all of us. And actually, it's I think it's the time where the markets get so complex, product gets so complex, that we all need partnerships to stay ahead. And the More Conference helps with that. And also, if we don't invite the competitors, still they have their voice. So better that they have their voice when they're very polite and humble on our platform.
I can fill in for the last 3 years. People came on the More Conference, right? And we were also there. Prinssen, Paul, and Inga. We were all four there. And what you see is the speed in like AI and like lead follow-up, and it's just market data, price data. It's so quick and it's so important, but it's really hard to adapt as a dealer. If you are a big one or a small one, or you're a papa mama company or whatever, you need to adapt. And people feel that they need to pick up this speedboat or they miss the boat. And I think that is what also More is about, to just have a day of fully adaptation of all these trends, and but also practical. How can I start today with these simple things to have my dealership better, to do my conversion better, to do my pricing better, to do the lead follow-up better. That's just more important than ever, and I think that's all of this day and all of the speakers and the stages, right?
Very good.
For sure.
Yes, that's true.
No, but I think if you talk about the cooperation as well, and Alexander can fill in, the cooperation between Marktplaats and Mobile with Marktplaats is at least the last 5 years very strong.
Yeah, and now, of course, I acknowledge that. So I think it's really strong, and we also do an exchange, of best practices between those markets. And of course, I think on certain elements, Germany is ahead of us, and you also see it vice versa, of course. So I think we can learn from each other. And I think in addition to that, or of course, we all know that a lot of Dutch dealers, are currently already advertising on Mobile. Because like I said, I think we have an international, even global market nowadays. And I think, Mobile is a great add-on to, let's say, the local marketplace, in this case, Marktplaats for the Netherlands. But the same goes also for Tweedehands in Belgium, or, even for other countries as well. So I'm fully agree. I think there is a good exchange of ideas, opportunities, and so on.
Yeah, for example, Inga told me before, 1/3 of the leads of Mobile is coming out of Germany. So that's a very big number. 20% of the ads of the cars advertising on the platform are from different countries. And there are 1.4 million cars on the platform. So you can see that 20% is an awful lot of cars advertising on Mobile for the whole European and sector. And even every 20 seconds a car is sold, right, Inga?
It's every 12 seconds.
12 seconds. Oh.
So we could calculate how many get sold during this podcast.
Yeah, for sure. So the other markets beside the German market is very important.
Yes, and we're seeing a growing importance, and it's there's for one thing also why we included the international stage last year is that we see that cross-border is getting more and more important because there are age difference, because of the different powertrain, how users adapt to that, and so on. So cross-border is important, but also the dealer world, the dealer sphere gets more and more European. So we don't only, there's consolidation going on in the market, and it's European competition now and not just national competition. And these are reasons why also the business gets more and more European and international, because we have those international players that start to appear more and more.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Rolf can emphasize that your company is growing faster the last 5 years than ever before, right? Because the cross-border trade is that important.
Yes, absolutely. That's the case.
Yeah, and I think there's even much more opportunity ahead of us, right? There are 100,000 dealers in Europe that will consolidate, will professionalize, will be more digital, and Mobile will be a hub around Germany as a cross-border trade platform. But then again, people need to adapt it, need to learn, and need to see how things are working. And when you understand those things, you can work with it, and you can make a profit and sell faster. And that's always the game. It was 20, 40 years ago, still the same game, but still is. I'm just wondering how your German is. I know Inga is very good in German. Alexander, Paul, how is your German? If I say the new slogan of Mobile, inserieren, optimieren, konvertieren.
Okay.
Alexander, maybe you can...
Converteren is conversion, of course. Yeah. It's all about conversion. No. Dutch people, often go on holiday in Germany or in Austria. So I think most Dutch people, at least, they do understand German. And I think some of them can also speak it quite well. So,
There are also 10 dealers from Austria at the Conference. So that's also really nice. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Final thoughts. My last question to Inga. What about the tickets? Are there still tickets available?
So we have more international dealers than we had last year, but we still have a couple of slots. And there's a prerequisite. There needs to be a Mobility account. And with this Mobility account, you can get a free ticket. And Rolf can help with that, with your stocks. So if you don't have one, this is a perfect time to get one if you were always thinking about getting one. So there are a couple of slots, and there's a great international program. Thanks to Rolf, Alexander, and Paul. We have great panels. We have an international opening reception, the satellite events on the day before. We have the great workshop during the conference, and most of the English-speaking panels are after the international workshop, so that of course the international dealers can see it. So I think it's worth the trip to Berlin.
For sure.
And still, the Black Eyed Peas band from Germany, is that the end of is that the end slot? We all know.
I forgot. Yeah, of course. I noticed the last 2 years. Dutch car dealers are very good at partying. And of course, there's a party. Although this year we changed the band. This year it's a new band, but I think they're also great. They're a cover band, and we briefed them on party. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
You the German Robbie Williams, right? This time.
You just need to manage the expectations a bit.
Yeah. So, and Rolf, any last thoughts for you?
Well, again, I think, Paul, it's great that you spent this hour for having people pre-knowledge about the More event, what will happen in Berlin on the 13th November with the international dealers. As Alexander also said, networking is also one of the key things people are really keen on. Last year, there was an EV table with Danish people, with Dutch people, and I just saw the transactions and the trailers and the trucks going around. They already sold cars and bought cars. That was great. So trust is going to be really quickly there with people, as said. But so I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm really proud also that Mobile is taking this event, and that Eurostox can be a sponsor as a cross-border trade partner. So thanks all for that. Looking forward to 13th of November and the day and the night before, when we will host all the international dealers in one great hotel.
Okay, thank you, Rolf. Alexander, for you, the last thoughts.
Yeah, so I'm really enthusiastic about this. I'm talking also about based on experience, because I was there also in Hanover and last year in Berlin. I think, as a good entrepreneur in automotive, I think you should definitely attend, and taking also perspectives from other markets. I think that's really important, since we all operate in an international market nowadays. If this year, you won't succeed to get that ticket, then definitely subscribe for next year.
For sure. Thank you. And Inga, for you as well, last thoughts.
Yeah, so if you really cannot make it this year, then be sure to check out all the content that we create on that day. There's a lot on our YouTube channel, and you don't have the exchange with the others, but you still get the inspiration, the numbers, the impulses. And of course, you can contact the panel and keynote guests afterwards as well. But be sure to check it out. There's, I guess, a panel for every challenge that dealers have at the moment, or for most of them, most of the more important one. So yeah, I would be very happy, and I think it's absolutely worth it.
Okay. So thank you, Inga. Thank you, Rolf, Alexander, as well, to participate in this LinkedIn Live. For me, it was kind of rusty because I did it so long ago, LinkedIn Live, and something about live things, not on stage, because on stage I feel more comfortable than being live on camera. I don't know why, but this is what it is. I'm going to stutter more. I don't know why, but that's the name of the beast. But I'm very happy that I was joined by Alexander, by Rolf and Inga, and that Rolf stepped in when the audio went away like that. So it was very pleasant. I will see you next time. We will do it again, because we have a new studio. So I want to make more fun with the studio as well, to make more LinkedIn Lives as well, to make online automotive better, what our mission statement is, from the Marktplaats perspective, from the Eurostock perspective, and for sure voor de mobiele.de perspective. Thank you for watching. Till next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
And a great studio, Paul. Looks good.
Yes.
And everybody, a nice